It's showtime here at the Spring Showcase. I'm Michael Washington. He's Daniel Villalpando. As we are, week four? This is week four, right? We're halfway through.
Halfway through.
Daniel, we're having a little technical difficulties on your end. I don't know. You good?
I I feel good. It looks good.
I I don't know. It's skipping on my end. I don't know if it's skipping on the stream or not. But look at you trying to get the. Well, first and foremost, while we're trying to figure that out real quick, I want to give a shout out to Sam for that intro. I have never given him a shout out for that intro. That intro was fire. I just realized in 2 years that we've been doing this, I've never given him a shout out. He doesn't like his work as much as I do, but that man, he knows how to put together an opening and closing. That's for sure.
He does. He does. He's good with it.
All right. Big week, man. Big week of action this week. First and foremost, let's talk about the big news before we get moving on to anything else. You shared it in the chat. I saw it literally 2 minutes after. Jeremy Johnson coming out of retirement to play for the Caudillos, who have apparently moved on from Harrison Robideau after a loss this past week. There's more to this than that I've heard about how they want to go about doing this, but I don't know if I would do it.
Yeah, it's I don't know if they pressed the panic button. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not exactly. I don't know if I love the move. I'm not sure, man. I mean, obviously the Caudillos are gonna love the move, but it's very interesting. That's the biggest news so far this year.
Yeah, it's huge news. Jeremy Johnson, for those who don't know, has been with the Caudillos the last 2 seasons prior to this year, undefeated in that two season stretch. I think you said they lost in July or something like that of 2023 or June of 2023 or something was their last loss or something
That's
like
right.
that.
June 2023
or 2022 might have even been 20. Was it 2023 or 2022?
23.
Well, defeated in 2023, right? I don't know what is going on with that. That is crazy. I am plugged in. I'm hardwired in. There's no reason for that to be happening right now. That's crazy. You got internet issues. Good. Anyway,
Yeah.
I believe, anyways, the last 2 seasons they were undefeated with Jeremy Johnson, 2 championships for the Caudillos, and they move forward this year because he retires, and they bring in Harrison Robideau. Undefeated for the first 3 weeks. Doesn't look as good on paper as it had in previous years past. Because last week they lose to the Archangels, though, which we'll get into in a little bit here. It really feels like a panic move, in my opinion. It literally feels like just because there was one loss. You know what it reminds me of is the ELF and Sean Shelton with the Raiders T roll.
Yeah.
It just.
I'm not sure why they
didn't live up to the Jeremy Johnson hype, and they're just moved on from them. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, I mean, it felt really fast. Obviously, I'm sure they reached out to him. I would love to find that out. That'd be pretty cool. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I get it. You want to be undefeated. I get it. You want to be successful and you want to dominate. But I mean, it's one loss. I wouldn't have. I want to know what that. I would love to be a fly on the wall in that locker room. You know?
Yeah, it feels like you're still on the top in the well, you're not on top in the standings right now, but you're not out of the playoff position. You still have one of the best defenses in the league. You have weapons all over the field on offense. It feels like at the halfway point of the year, being 3-1, and then you turn around and make this move. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, man. It's a very strange move to me. I've never been a big fan of switching quarterbacks, but especially if you're a winning team, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just
And you're
doesn't.
a two-time
That's all I got
defending
to say about that.
championship team. Yeah, yeah,
Right, that's what I mean. Like, you're two-time champs, you're undefeated. Yeah, I mean, I get you want to get down there and control and try to get year 3 and stay undefeated. I mean, that's everybody's goal that plays in this game. But everybody knows that when you play this game, the likelihood of you even win 2 seasons undefeated is not very high. So it definitely feels like a weird panic move to me. Very strange panic move to me.
absolutely.
All right, let's get into this week's action real quick. What do you say?
Down for it.
The Mexicas. They beat the guy. Yeah, they beat the Gallos Negros 19-10. This game though felt extremely strange to me. It truly, this was more of like the Negros just getting the game away. It wasn't necessarily the Mexicas. You got me, Daniel?
I got you now. Yeah.
This is no reason for this to be happening.
Is it my
You
end?
got me now?
I can hear you.
Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can try to figure this out.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, man. Daniel, you got me now. I apologize to the viewers that are here for the show. This is weird to me because I'm hardwired into my router. Do you got me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I don't know. It's really weird. I'm not sure what's happening right now. Gorgeous weather all day today, and there's no reason for technical difficulties, but difficulties hopefully figured out now. All right, moving forward. This game, the Gallos Negros and the Mexicas, it felt like that the Mexicas didn't win this game as much as it was the Gallos Negros giving this game away. I mean, that was my opinion. The kicking was terrible last week as far as that was concerned. The Gallos really had probably some of the worst kicking I've seen all year so far.
Yeah, I think that's kind of been a trend. I'm not gonna lie, that's been a trend in the LFA. If you can hear me loud and clear, it was just one of those games that they had the opportunity to take. They had more than. I mean, it seems to be a trend right now with the Gallos Negros. They've had many opportunities, man. They just have to finish, and they get there, man. They get to the dance, and clock strikes midnight and turn into a pumpkin. It's tough because they're so much better than their record. But I mean, we said it last time. That's what the Mexicas are supposed to do. You're supposed to close out games. You're supposed to, if you're a winning team, that's your job, and they did a great job of it.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, the score looked like, if you're a box score reader of any point of any sort or anything along those lines, and you're just looking at the box score side of this thing, it looks like the Mexicas were in control. But anybody who watched the game saw that the Gallos Negros was, they had a chance on a couple field goals to bring it within one or to move ahead by one, and at one point in time had a chance to take the lead, and just 13-12, and they missed the field goal so bad. I mean, it was terrible. It wasn't even close. So
Yeah,
kicking definitely needs to be clean. The kicking definitely needs to be cleaned up down there, in some capacity. I don't know where they're going to find these kickers, but something needs to happen.
yeah. I want to know who's going to be the first LFA team to take a risk and bring in an import kicker. You would think they would not have to, right? We're in Mexico, but it's. I mean, we just saw a team potentially lose a game because they can't get it in the uprights. I mean, if you go to the stats and you go to the numbers, there's not a lot of kickers that are even over 50, 60%. Those
Yeah.
are points. Those are points you're leaving off in the field, and I would love to see them take a chance on an import kicker. You don't need 8 DBs. You don't need all these imports. I think points is important.
Yeah, points are definitely important, especially when you start taking a look at how these games have gotten closer over times. I mean, this one was a 9-point game, but at one point in time, this game could have been 13-12 if he had made the kick. So,
Hmm.
uh, you know, you're talking a 6-point swing, in favor of the Mexicas, even if they do score that touchdown, regardless, and Gallos Negros lose this game. Um, you know, it's still only a 6-point game, so you're in a tight battle there down the stretch, and points matter the most. You take a look at the next game that we're going to talk about. But before we do, last week I believe I had you. I had you. I had you by. I had you hanging on my words going into my prediction for this game, where I talked about
You did.
how the Archangels, and then I said in an alternate universe. Well, guess what happened? The alternate universe is our universe. The
Yeah.
Archangels beat the Cadillos. Beat the
Yep.
Cadillos. Cadillos go down for the first time in 2 years. Their first loss. They lost 26-20. But at the one point in time, this this Archangels team was at like 26-7 or something like that. Like, it was not.
Yeah.
This game was not close until the very end, um, by any stretch of the imagination. So, uh, what were your takeaways on this? Because we talked about the Archangels being a little bit of one dimensional, but it seemed to work really well against this Cadillos defense, surprisingly.
Utter shock. It was one of those games where everything was going their way. Um, I was very, very excited to see the Arcángeles not move away from what was working. When they were getting 4 or 5 yards a
Mm.
pop, they stuck with it. When they were enjoying it, like it was building the momentum throughout the game. A little disappointed in seeing the Caudillos kind of be beaten up, but they're human. They're human, man. And as far as that, the Archangels are for real, man, and they did a great job. I think the confidence has kind of been rolling over, but just an absolute crazy. I mean, look what it just did, right? That loss just tumbled over and completely changed the landscape of the league. The number one team now, or what we thought, right, the number one team, but they just changed their quarterback room. They brought in a vet. Like it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It was fun to see. It was awesome. I know you and I in the chat were going kind of crazy about it, so it was fun.
Yeah, and it was a great game by the Archangels. By all means, they controlled every aspect of it. Like I said, they were up 26-6 at one point in time. The Caudillos did show some fight, though. They did show that little bit of championship caliber, tough-nosed football down the stretch. But we talked about at the top of the show before we had all those technical difficulties and whatnot. That whole idea of the quarterback change and everything else, it's going to be interesting to see how the Caudillos move forward. There's 4 weeks remaining in this situation. They're not out of the playoffs by any means, but they have the Gallos Negros next, and then they play the Archangels again. That 2 weeks from now. So that game's at home. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they rebound in that week against the Archangels, because again, they can't be one dimensional, and what worked for them in this game may not work for them in the next game against the Caudillos. So we'll have to keep an eye on that in 2 weeks and see what happens there.
Yeah, I think that second matchup is going to be vital to their championship run, the Caudillos, I mean. I think they're going to want that one back. I'm very familiar with like the mindset as far as in Mexico when it comes to football. Like they want to get their lick back, right? They want to get that rematch and that revenge. There's a lot of emotions that are going to go into that game, and I think that's the biggest reason they went to go get that. They went to go get Jeremy Johnson back. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I would love to see what they do with Roboto. If I was one of these teams, I don't know if the trade deadline has hit, but I mean, I'd go offer a couple kickers and a goat or something. I don't know. I'd offer something.
A couple of kickers and a goat.
I think it'll work.
Fair enough. I'm very curious about what they're going to do with Harry Robideau too. There's some things that I've heard, off of radar about what they want with him and how they want to proceed. And I'm not really sure. I'm a big fan of it, and anybody who's a fan of Harry is probably shouldn't be a big fan of this either. I love Jeremy Johnson. I'm glad he's back. It is a move that still will baffle me until we see how it plays out. Like I said, there's 4 weeks left, so who knows? But I really don't feel that like the Caudillos were in any danger of being any worse than a 2-loss team at the absolute worst. So strange move to me. Strange move, because this is football. You can't win them all the time. Everybody knows that. You take a look at the NFL every year. So the next game was probably the game of the year so far to this point, and it was a must-win for one team, and that team did not win. They actually blew it late in the fourth and gave this game away to a very, very surprising and hard-nosed Dinos team, and Trayvon Boykin played really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Trayvon Boykin actually ended up being the player of the game of this game, and I don't know if that's a testament to the Dinos being a better team when they have the one quarterback situation figured out, or if it's a testament to just how far this Raptor team has fallen from the championship run last year.
Yeah, man, and it's funny that that's the way you word it. It feels like the Raptors are one player, right? Like they have one guy, and obviously I know you were a huge fan of him, Johan Guerrero. It feels like it's too much. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a baller, man. He's a baller, but the Dinos did exactly what we were hoping for. It took them a couple weeks, but I mean, let's hope that they stick to Boykin. That's the biggest thing. But I think that's a huge testament to him too, man. That's a mature thing to do. You were in a quarterback battle. Obviously, you're in a quarterback battle with a national. So you're gonna have your certain mindset going in. He bought his time. When he got his chance, he balled out, man. And that's to me, that's a huge testament to a quarterback. You gotta be mentally tough, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of those mentally tough quarterbacks out there. Anybody can sling it. A lot of guys can have that arm talent. But shout out to Trevon Boykin for stepping up and really getting behind the gritty and getting to it.
Yeah, and that's one thing that and that's one thing that I feel like is uh, it goes unstated with some of these quarterbacks. Like you said, the professionalism to be able to step up to do what to even step up and do what he did, especially in this game, leading his team, to a comeback victory late in the fourth, to do that in a situation that any other player would have rightfully been upset about.
Yeah.
Right? Like, to be honest with you, to be upset about, to get benched over something that, could have easily been ironed out over time. But it's a short season. So I understand some of these teams want to try to find a quick fix because it is only 8 games. So you got to try to find a way to be able to be at the top of your game as much as possible. But again, like everybody knows, like with the Caudillos, like it's football. Sometimes some of these things take a little bit of iron out. Yeah, it's 8 weeks. It's a short season, but it's also 8 weeks. So if it's week 1, don't put yourself in a quarterback battle right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and the Dinos kind of did that with Eric De La Rosa, and I like Eric De La Rosa, and I like Johan Guerrero, but there's a lot on Johan Guerrero's plate with the Raptors. Like you said, like it just feels like it's so much. Like that offense runs so heavily through him. So, what can the Raptors do to try to make this 4-4 and hopefully sneak into the playoffs? It looks like, judging from the way that the playoffs are set, it looks like it's just going to be the top 4. It doesn't look like they're taking in 6. Daniel, did I lose you? I think I lost Daniel. Some more technical difficulties here on Spring Showcase. It is a crazy Wednesday, without a doubt here. Apparently he has gotten, the boot from his internet on his end. So hopefully he'll get back here and we'll get back to it. I'm going to try to fill a little bit of time until he gets back. Hopefully he gets back sooner rather than later. But yeah, so the Raptors, to me, in my opinion, as far as the way that this goes for them, is they have to find a way to get a lot of that lifted off Johan Guerrero's shoulders, because it's way too much for him. Last year, when he had less responsibility, he stepped up and was able to do it. So I feel like the pressure may be getting to him a little bit here. And I don't know if it's just the Raptors coaching staff or if it's the lack of weapons around the Raptors. And the defense doesn't feel like it's really maintaining the way that it should as well. It's one of the problems that I feel like this year has been for the Raptors in this case. As far as the Dinos are concerned, this game was a telltale sign of where they are coming or where they're going as a team. This team has now kind of set themselves up in a position to make the playoffs if it is the top 4 teams, and it also allows them to kind of control their destiny. The Archangels are 2-2. They have some offensive issues they need to figure out as well, but the Dinos are in position to be the Raptors of last year for this year. Not saying they're necessarily going to go on a run and they're going to go to the championship game the way that everybody expects them or thinks that or not expects them, thinks that they could do when I compare those two. But there is a possibility that this Dinos team is better than we all thought it was in the harder games, because this game was a 44-43 game. It was not an easy game to win by any stretch of the imaginations. It was not an easy game to move forward to dominate. Really, there was no domination involved on either side. It was just a hard-nosed, tough game, and that was the way that worked out. You know, I think moving forward, I think one of the things that the Dinos do need to figure out is they do need to stick with one quarterback in this situation moving forward. I think that they can't sit here and continue to play this yo-yo at the quarterback position. They need to be able to figure that out. And hopefully with the Trayvon Boykin performance in this game, that's who they roll with moving forward. Daniel is back. He got everything situated. I was actually just filling in the gaps there while you were gone, talking a little bit about the Raptors. And right before I lost you, I asked the question, I feel like, or not asked the question, but it looks like to me, I don't know about to you, but looking at the schedule, it looks like they're just taking the top 4 teams this year. It doesn't look like there's 6 involved. It looks like it's just the top 4 teams.
Yeah, 4 teams. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And it also feel like that this game, which was a must-win for the Raptors to get into this situation, that they need to figure out more with Johan Guerrero like we talked about. But on the flip side, it feels like the Dinos are setting themselves up, and I said it right before you came back on air. It sounds like the Dinos or it feels like the Dinos have themselves in a position to be the Raptors of this year from last year.
Yeah, I mean they got a great pass rush. If they can stick to one quarterback, if they can rally behind him, that's going to be a great thing to do. It's obviously going to build. It's going to build. Uh, I guess momentum within the team. It's going to be continuity and all that, and that's what you need. You need that. You're going to need great pass rush, solid defense, and you're going to need great quarterback play to get to the championship. That's what we saw from the Raptors last year, and you're right. They definitely have the possibility to be the Raptors of 2025.
Yeah, and I'm not saying they're going to go all the way to the championship or anything like that, or whatnot. And uh, you know, as far as that's concerned, I just feel like that they're setting themselves up in a position to give themselves a shot to make that run, kind of like the Raptors did. Now, obviously, with it being 4 teams compared to 6, it's not as lengthy of a process. They just need to win one game and they're in the finals. But they're it just feels like they're giving themselves that chance. Now, the Archangels, on the other hand, are sitting right below them in the standings. The Archangels are 2-2. They're a little one-dimensional, which we talked about. It worked this week against the Cadios, but we also talked about in 2 weeks they're not going to be able to do that same game plan. Right now, those two teams are neck and neck as far as that fourth playoff position is concerned. The Archangels quarterback situation is figured out, but it's a national quarterback, and Trayvon Boykin is the A import. Is there an advantage for the Dinos just because they do have that A import at that position, or does not matter in this situation because both teams are really balanced?
I think if Boykin was starting the whole season, it would be more favorable towards the Dinos. Um, the harder part is the fact that this is kind of his first Dino's start in a way, right? I mean, they still have obviously kind of a little mix that they're going. We've kind of seen that they don't really. A lot of these teams don't really stick to one guy, as if their quarterback's a national. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think at the end, if he sticks the whole season out, yeah, they're gonna have the advantage because of he's just a baller, man. He's a winner. What he does is win, and I think he's gonna give them their best shot.
Yeah, yeah, and that's going to be something to keep an eye on right now because as we move forward, you know, we are looking at some of these teams, the cream of the crop, I guess you could say, is kind of rising to the top to what is that? That was Jump Around guys there, House of Pain, right?
The
That's what
House
they
of
said in
Pain.
that
There you
song. Let's
go.
jump
Yep.
around. Yeah,
Yep.
that was yeah. uh, but it's true though. I mean, we're starting to see some separation between the top half of this league and the bottom half of this league. There's about 5 teams that I would say, maybe 6, that are, the Gallos Negros I think has some things that work out, but overall, I'd say there's probably about 5 really strong teams. Like the Archangels, for instance, they were 1-2 going to that game against the Cadios and beat them. So I feel like those top 5 though are probably the really teams to kind of keep an eye on in this situation. So it's going to be a very interesting battle down the stretch for this. Because the Dinos have the Osos next, so that's a tough game right off the jump, and then they play the Gallos Negros, which Gallos Negros is dangerous if they can figure it out. We already seen that before.
Yep.
And then they played the Mexicas to close out. Is that only 3 games? Did I miss one here? Bear, Osos, Roosters, the Mexicas. Oh, and the Kings, and they close out with Reyes. So they have a fairly favorable schedule down the stretch. So
Yeah.
uh, it's going to be interesting to see where the Archangels, on the other hand, they go to Reyes, they go to Reyes next week. And then they have to travel again to Cadios. Then they're at home against the Raptors, which again, the Raptors, even though they're kind of a winless team, they're going to put up a fight. I feel like
They're
that's just been the
feisty.
case for them this year.
Yep.
And then they close with the Osos, which could be a heavy, heavy playoff implication. Um, game down the stretch. But the Raptors should be 2-2. I mean, let's face it. They should have beat the Mexicas in week 1. They let some opportunities go, and they should have beaten the Dinos this past week, and they let some opportunities go and let that game slip away.
Yep.
The last game on the slate, we won't have to talk a lot about. This Reyes team is just not. They're just not taking the step forward like we thought. They played this game tough for about a quarter and a half, and then the wheels fell completely off in a matter of short period of time. and the Osos just put it on Reyes. They ended up winning this game 44-10. I don't know what else to really say about this game. There's not much to say about either one of these teams, in my opinion, at this point.
I would say the only thing other than this domination is that time slot. Just bump it up 1 hour, LFA. Just bump it up 1 hour. Late Monday game. I'll tell you what, they stick to the clock rules. Even though it was a butt whooping, that game was going on pretty late. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really know. A lot of frustration throughout the game on the offensive side for the Reyes. A lot of hands being thrown in the air. It was a tough watch. It was close to my prediction, but it was bad. It was a blowout.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I was really hoping had some really high hopes for a little bit of this Reyes team, and I thought maybe with Shannon Patrick came back, they might be able to make a little bit of some changes there and whatnot, but you know it is what it is. It happens. There's always going to be somebody at the bottom and somebody at the top, and unfortunately this year Reyes is back near the bottom, and hopefully moving forward they can figure something out in this situation, because
Yep.
this league's already down to 8, and I really, really don't want to see them go any lower. So, fingers crossed that this isn't any indication of anything moving forward. So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You want to see the LFA build, get back to at least double digit teams, man. It's always good to have more teams.
yeah, I agree. And that's just the way that is, and whatnot. So I want to say something real quick too that I don't think that we've really discussed about the Osos and the Archangels. Their uniforms, like both rebrands, those uniforms are
Snazzy.
so good.
Yeah, absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
oh man, they were so good.
A lot of these indoor teams need to take some notes on sometimes brand new color schemes, new names. It'll work for you. You got to trust it, man. You got to trust it. It looks awesome. It looks
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's just, especially those Archangels ones, because like the font, the numbers, like the number sequence on them, like
Yeah.
I mean, it just the whole package just really works for them as well. Also, no closed captions this week at least on the YouTube channel. It was really sad. I was hoping that maybe we had it there. So
Yeah. No kidding. No
I
kidding.
was just because I still want to get to know these players, man. Like that's what I really want it for more than anything.
Hmm.
It's these players. All right, we're at that point in time of the show where we do our predictions. And now I'm really regretting not going forward with my Archangels prediction from last week, but hey, shit happens. So
The fact that you even talked about it though was pretty crazy.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna
I mean,
lie.
it did cross my mind. Like
Yeah,
it did cross my mind that it was a
you did.
possibility, but I didn't actually think it was going to be true, just because the Archangels were just so one dimensional. I thought the Caudillos would have a chance, but hey, sometimes it's only a matter of one tweak here, one tweak there, and just enough do enough of something that you're not able to do, and the Archangels did that. They were able
I,
to do just enough
yeah,
of of their weakness to keep that game in control.
I think you secretly want to switch your team over, but I don't think you want to jinx them. I know I can feel it. I can read it in the mind. You know.
Oh, that I'm going to switch my team over to the Archangels.
Those
I mean,
uniforms are great, man.
the branding is on point. I'm a big
Yep.
Josh Mack fan. I like Denzel Strong. You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
telling you.
I'm just saying, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I still like the best mascot in all of football in any league,
Yeah.
and those uniforms are still kind of I like the blue and the black. It's a great
Yeah.
mixture, but
It looks
you know,
good. It does
it
look good.
looks good. I want some wins. Damn it.
Yeah.
I want
Amen.
some wins. So we didn't take them down last week, right? Because you didn't have the stuff because you were at work, so we didn't take down the scores or whatever last week. But I'm pretty sure we both got the Caudillos wrong. Uh,
Bingo.
I think we both got the Raptors wrong,
Bingo.
and I believe we both got the Osos and the Mexicas right, though.
Correct.
Okay.
I
All
actually
right.
no. I had the Gallos Negros beating the Mexica, so I was wrong there.
Oh. So you went
Yeah,
1-3 last week. Not a good week for
I
you. Good
believe
thing you don't.
so.
Good thing you
I
don't
believe.
bet, huh?
Yeah, I'll watch the. I'm gonna rewatch them just so since we're at the midpoint. I want to get us a nice little tally. Because that was fun. That was fun keeping track. So I'll rewatch our episodes and I'll get the predictions down. So I got you.
Yeah. Okay.
I got some homework.
Homework it is. We'll have that all figured out next week. We'll have records for you next week. Hopefully. Well, we'll do
Yes,
that.
sir.
All right, let's start with this week. I feel like this week seems to be, well, I mean, there's a couple games that may or I feel like we're going to probably be on point here with this one. But let's open up. May 31st. Two games on May 31st, one June 1st and one June 2nd. So it sounds like another Monday night game coming your way. Hopefully not at friggin' 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. This
No,
time.
no kidding. No kidding.
The Gallos Negros are at home and will host the Cadillos, coming off their first loss. Gallos Negros has been a tough team all year offensively. Defensively can't keep up. They can't finish drives, however, and they're going against an angry Hornets nest. This shouldn't be pretty, should it?
I don't think so. I think the combination of a lot of their imports or a couple of their imports have left the team. I know we didn't touch base on that.
Yeah.
For their reasons and whatever reason that is, hey, we always wish them, luck and all that stuff. I think the combination of that, the combination of Jeremy Johnson coming back, um, I think they're just going to be hype. And you're right. I mean, the Hornets' nest is perfect way to put it. I think it'll be a little closer just because it's going to be kind of a quarterback battle. But at the end of the day, yeah, the Cadillos they'll bounce back. I got it 30-12. Cadillos winning.
Yeah, shout outs to Benjamin Jackson, who's here. Daniel
Hey,
is my
Big
co-host.
Ben. Yes,
Yes.
yes, sir. Appreciate
Good
it.
old Big Ben. Yeah, hell yeah. Thank you for the support and tuning in here while we talk a little LFA action.
Appreciate you,
By all
boys.
means. Yeah, for sure. So you went 30-12. That's very close to my score here. I think the Cadillos it's not going to be pretty. Jeremy Johnson's coming back. However, and I say however not in a spoiler or like a upset alert thing. I say however in a sense that this game could also be uglier on the Cadillo side than we're expecting it to be because of everything that's going on with the quarterback position. You just never know what that's going to happen. You don't want to think that Jeremy Johnson's going to come in and the team is going to necessarily um, cause a mutiny of some sort. But at the same time, you're messing with the rhythm that you've already had. Even though you came off a loss, you're already messing with that chemistry that's been built over the last four games. And this guy's coming off his couch.
Yeah,
Like it's not one of those things where it's like he was like working out with the practice squad or he was on another team somewhere else got cut, like he was retired. So
yeah,
yeah, um, I think they still win this game. I think it's going to be 34 to I got it 34-9. I just and the 9 is probably going to be like a safety of some sort because it's definitely not a field goal.
it won't be a field goal. Yeah,
With the way the Gadios or
God
with the way
bless.
the Gallos Negros has a kicker out there, if they even have a kicker at this point, uh, and maybe it's a 2-point play. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, it's I'll say 9 just to be, you never know.
Yeah,
Maybe a cheerleader goes out there and boots one through the uprights. Who knows?
yeah.
Um,
Please, somebody's
but
got to get it there.
I just don't think it's gonna be pretty.
Over the crossbar.
Hey,
Yeah.
I kicked briefly. Maybe I can come out of retirement. I'll come.
I guarantee
I'll
you it'll be better than some of those guys.
I'll come. Come kick some balls from down there in Mexico. So, by all means. All right. The second game, the Raptors must win last week. They still have a chance here. So they got the Mexicas, they got the Reyes, they got the Archangels, and they have the Gallos Negros moving up. So realistically speaking, if they run the table, they can go 4-4 and maybe, who knows, maybe find a way to sneak in as the 4 seed. Assuming that the Archangels and Dinos kind of hover around that 4-4 range. Do they beat the Mexicans here, who are 3-1, I believe, or 4-0. They're 4-0. They're undefeated.
4-0.
That's right. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
4-0. And upset the Mexicans to start that kickoff tour, because if there's ever an upset for the Raptors to be on the books, I feel like this is going to be the one.
Yeah, that's kind of the consensus, right? I mean, you feel that it's a strong possibility. Um, I don't see enough weapons on their side. I want to, right? I mean, based off the upset, I know you were gonna throw the upset last week, and I know when you feel it in your gut, you're like, man, do you want to take it? But man, I just think Tim Whitfield's playing lights out.
Oh
I
yeah.
think he found his rhythm. He's hit his stride. I think that's what's going to be the huge key component, that he is feeling on top of the world right now, and I just don't think the Raptors are going to be able to slow that down. So yeah, I mean, I got the Mexicas winning 26. I'll go 26-20. The Raptors score late, but yeah, I think it's just going to be another one of those games where the Mexicas could have put it away a little uglier, but they let people hang around.
Yeah, they do, and that's why this game is a classic trap game. I feel like I'm not taking the Raptors, but I'm on the fence of like it being 45% to an upset here.
Yeah,
Like I really honestly think this game isn't as 60-30, even 60-40, type of situation. Like it's not a. I think it's closer than that, and there is a possibility this could be a coin flip type game. I don't expect it, just because I do expect Tim Whitfield and the Mexicas to kind of run wild on the Raptors here. By all means, yeah, Justin, I agree with you. Fear 44. That's going to be the mantra for the Mexicas moving forward. So Mexicas win this game. It's going to be close, though. It is going to be close. I think it's going to be. I'm very similar to you in score, but I think it's going to be like 27-25, some kind of weird score like that. 27-25. I'll give it to
yeah.
the Mexicas for sure. It feels like a trap game, but I just don't know if the Raptors have enough to just get it over there. And even if they're in control, who's to say they don't have another fourth quarter meltdown like they did against the Dinos last week?
Yeah, yeah, that's the
So
big thing. Yep, I agree.
the next game is an interesting one, just because. I mean, I don't know, like Archangels and Reyes. I don't think we have to spend a ton of time with this, unfortunately. But what are your thoughts on this one?
I mean, man, it's if they play the way they played against the Cadillos, you have a whole new spectrum of the type of team that they could be, right? You put them on a whole new factor. At the end of the day, it's more of the combination of one team being just uglier than the other, and I would like to see them get it going. You want them to get it going. Um, I think it'll be a little closer. I think, like I said last week, the Reyes, they kind of went against a pass rush that was going to just be scary. And that's exactly what happened. I think the Archangels at the end of the day, or the Arcángeles at the end of the day, will kind of run rampant. I think they're going to continue that. I think it'll be, I'll go, man, I was going to say, I'll go simple. I'll go 22. It's going to be random. I'll go 22-8. I'll go
22-8.
22-8.
That is definitely random. That is definitely random. I think Joshua Mack and Denzel Strong could easily run for a combined 300 yards in this game easily.
Yeah.
It's something about, and I hate to say that because I know that Reyes, there a lot of the guys that are out there, especially Shane and Patrick, who came in late, they're fighting. They're fighting out there. Like you could
Yeah,
see
you
them.
can feel
They're
it.
definitely fighting. Like you could see it. It's just it feels like, unfortunately, there's just something about this team, and I don't know if it's coming from the coaching staff, the organization. I know the LFA is still like a fairly young organization across the board, and they just don't have the stability in certain places. But something about this Reyes team, because I don't, correct me if I'm wrong. Weren't they in the championship game 2 years ago?
That's right.
They like when they lost to the Cadillos 2 years ago when they were in the championship game. If I'm correct, or was it the year before that or something like that? I mean, this team has been near the top before. So it's not a it's not unlikely for them to get back there. They know how to win. They just need to figure out where it's coming from, and turn it around fast. But the Archangels are going to win this game. I don't think I think they score more than 22. I think they're going to win 31-10. I say 31-10. It's not going to be pretty, unfortunately, as much as I wish it was. So this is an interesting one because there's a possible trap game here. The Dinos and the Osos. Osos are undefeated. They look like the best team overall. Now the Caudillos have a loss. I mean, you could argue Caudillos still number one, but the Osos look like they're possibly the strongest team in the league. I have them number one in my power rankings if we were to do a power rankings here. I had them close to number one last week, so that shouldn't become a surprise. The Dinos, on the other hand, though, I mean, if they get this quarterback thing figured out, they could be dangerous. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the Osos coming off of a butt whooping like that, I think that just makes you feel tremendous. I think that this group is kind of gelled so well that it may have been a little flirting with overconfident, but I think just how much they've been together, how much that they've kind of know each other. I think it'll roll over into confidence. It won't be overconfidence whatsoever. I think at the end of the day, if they can take care of that D line and they can contain and force turnovers from Boykin, I think at the end of the day, the Osos are the best team in the league. I think they're kind of starting to show that. They're starting to flex it. So yeah, I'm gonna give them the edge in this one. I think it'll be a great game. I think it's gonna be one that we're gonna love seeing. I'm gonna go 32-27. The Osos with the win.
Yeah, this game has a chance to be a potential. Dinos has a chance here to go back-to-back weeks with like game of the year candidates, in my opinion, because I feel like this could be it. I do think that you made a good point about the defensive line. I think the Osos has the advantage with the defensive line.
Yeah.
If the Dinos can find a way to get pressure on Shelton Epler, they'll have a chance. They have to get creative defensively, and especially be able to trust the back half of that defense.
Correct.
Like they did that in the fourth quarter against the Raptors. Like if you go back and watch a little bit of the fourth quarter there, you can see that they kind of started trusting the back half a little bit and found creative ways to get in Johan Guerrero's face. And if they can do that again, I think that they can do this. The other thing they need to do, and I know it sounds so simple, and we can sit here every week and talk about this, is they have to find a way to slow the Osos pass rush down. Because like you said, Trayvon Boykin is very, as good as he can flash like he did last week, he also has a tendency to have disastrous games and throw 4 interceptions in a game or have 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
So they need to find a way to slow that pass rush down early. It can't be later in the game when it's already starting to get to him. It has to be early. You got to do short passes, screen passes, bubble screens. You have to find a way to get the ball out of Boykin's hands as fast as possible to slow that pass rush down so they're thinking about it every play. Because if you don't do that, the Osos D-line is going to devastate that offensive line. It's a strong defensive line.
Yeah.
They're well coached. They're well coached in Monterey. So if the Dinos could do that, then this game is going to be probably, I don't want to say high scoring, but higher scoring and very close. I'm going to give this game 29-25 to the Osos. I do think that the Dinos find a way to make that happen, at least early in the game, enough to be able to keep it closer throughout the course of the game. So 29-25, I think the Osos have got this one, though. I think they're the clear-cut team, but I do think they're going to suffer a loss down the stretch. 4 games left, so
I don't think anyone will go undefeated to finish the year.
I think that there is a chance that they get defeated here down the stretch, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Justin, we all know you're an Osos fan, man. We love you. Thank you for the support, my man. Appreciate that all means. And tell Tim Whitfield we love him. We'd love to have him on if he wants to do an interview too, Justin. Be our liaison to that. I'd love that. We'd love to have him on. And if I can't interview him, Daniel will interview him one way or the other.
Yeah.
I know I've been on the network before, so. But do you get anything for your segment tonight, Daniel? Because if you do, This is your time to shine.
I am not prepared. I will be prepared next week. I will be
You're
prepared.
not prepared for your segment tonight. That's cool. That's
Not
fine. That's not a
prepared,
problem
yes,
at all. Not an issue at all by any means. I don't have anything else, my man. LFA week 4. We're halfway through the season, man.
halfway through the season, sir. Already.
Halfway through the season. We got 4 weeks left. It's going to be fun. We're going to start talking more and more about the playoffs as the picture starts coming into focus a little bit more. Definitely going to pay attention to that 4 seed. That 4 seed could be a very interesting battle to whoever that top seed is at the end of the year, by all means. So we're going to pay attention to that as well here at the Spring Showcase as well. A shout out to Sam Shady once again. Thank you, Sam, for a platform and giving us a chance to talk football, especially LFA football. We love it down south in the border. Hopefully this league can continue to stay stable and we can continue to see more and more investors coming in. I would love to see that moving forward as well. Also, while you're at it, check out the ELF over in Europe if you get a chance. Check out these indoor leagues as well. Support any of the players that you can. The players are absolutely the most important part, because if you're a true football fan and not just an NFL and a Power 4 fan, Chris, I'm just kidding. Chris loves all football. I'm just bullshitting. But
Everyone's trash. Everyone's trash, Chris.
But if you're a true football fan and you love the sport of football, there's football year round. You can find it everywhere. The CFL starting, as well. Especially if it's just outdoors your kick. There's several outdoor ways, and everything is accessible nowadays. YouTube is a great tool for a lot of it. You can shell out a little bit of money and get whole seasons from some of the Europe leagues. You can get the YouTube free for the LFA as well. That's the biggest part over here in America, anyways. It's free on the LFA, and hopefully there's closed captioning soon as well. And with that said, all right, I'm Michael Washington. He's Daniel Villalpando. Until next week, hopefully on Tuesday. Hopefully on Tuesday at 8:30. I know I say it every week. Thank you for the 40 people that were, by the way, that tuned in and on a random Wednesday once again, by all means. But hopefully Tuesday next week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. If not, once again, Wednesday is our default for 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So, but thank you for tuning in either way. And until next week, so long.